Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be answering another question for the vlog hop. And as you guys know, I am participating in this vlog hop. There are other YouTubers participating as well, and I'll put the link below in the description to their channels, as well to the playlist of all the answers to the different vlog hops. And this is week number 7. And this week's question is, what advice would you give to a person when someone calls them weird or too old to play with dolls? What should doll owners that have anxiety and depression do when maybe they don't want to play with their dolls anymore or feel ashamed to have them? So I was dreading doing this vlog hop this week because I think these are very serious questions. Especially when in terms of talking about anxiety and depression. I mean, I'm not, a professional. I'm not like a psychologist or anything. So I don't know that I'll be qualified to give any sort of advice. And I agree with Mina Mimosa. She's another YouTuber who's participating in this vlog up when she said that. And, it's really hard to kind of maybe give advice on that level because, people are different and they react differently to certain situations. So, but what I would say in terms of if you maybe don't want to play with your dolls anymore, and this is, I think, a valid advice to anyone, not only people suffering from anxiety and depression, but I think for every doll collector, there's no binding contract saying that you have to collect dolls for the rest of your life, Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe dolls were something that helped you get through something, but maybe you have outgrown them at some level. So if you're sure that you're not interested in doll collecting anymore, I would say, sell your dolls or donate them. And if you sell them, if you make that money, maybe use that money for something else that you now enjoy. Now, if you're not sure, if you're still on the fence about it, I would say maybe put your dolls away in storage in a box somewhere. Carefully, of course, make sure you have them stored correctly so there's no damage or anything, but store them away for a few months and see if you miss them. If you don't miss them, if you don't even remember they're there, then maybe it's time to sell them and move on to something else. But maybe if you miss some of them, not all of them, then maybe you can maybe sell some of them, keep the ones that are your favorites. So I think in terms of doing that, you can always sell the dolls if you just don't want to collect them anymore. Now, if you feel ashamed about having your dolls, I would say, first of all, and that also goes with the theme of, when someone calls you weird or too old for, to play with dolls. In terms of my doll collecting, I don't tell everyone about my doll collecting, and it's not because necessarily I feel ashamed of it, but I know that there's a certain stigma or like criticism from society in general about adults that play or collect toys. People tend to think that that's something not normal, so I choose carefully the people that I actually share that with, and it's just because I just don't want to deal with that. The reason why I started doll collecting was because it helped me kind of de-stress. I had a very stressful job at one point, and there's other pressures in life when you're an adult, and so dolls to me are a form of art, and they're relaxing. I customize them, I make doll clothes for them, or even if I just display them, the ones that I buy that are in stock, I don't customize them, but they're displayed, and just looking at that, like, look at this doll right here, La Robe Verclair. Look at her outfit. It's so intricate and detailed. This is a work of art to me. So for me, it makes me happy, to appreciate something that's so pretty and cute. What's wrong with that? People find different ways to de-stress and, to deal with their anxiety and depression, and I think some people, they exercise constantly. Other people, I don't know, they find out other activities that they like to do to de-stress. So why can't I have a hobby I don't think that's necessarily unhealthy. Maybe if you are hoarding too many toys at the point where you can't move around your house or something like that, or if you maybe are spending too much money when you shouldn't, maybe that could be a problem. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the hobby itself of doll collecting is a problem, you know what I mean? I think especially when you're an adult and you make your own money, you can choose to spend the money the way you want it. So if that's something that you enjoy and makes you happy, I don't understand why people need to always give their 2 cents about it. Um, Another thing, in terms of, so if they call you weird, or you're too old, like I said, I don't think it's necessary for you to share that information with just everyone that you know. You don't have to share that. There are certain friends that I shared my hobby with, and now they're actually collecting dolls too. They weren't before. So it was kind of, those were the types of friends that I knew would appreciate the sort of thing. But other types of friends don't appreciate that, and I know that their personality would be kind of to look at you weird. And I also think, depending on the people that you tell, in my case, I always make it sound cool. So it's like, yeah, I collect dolls, these really cool, Asian dolls from Japan or Korea. I make it sound cool. Oh, I make dresses for them, I customize their face and change their wigs and stuff. And, I make it sound cool. So I think if you tell people and you make it sound cool, like, yeah, I don't care what you think. I'm still telling you I collect dolls. So what? I think if you make it sound cool, then maybe people would be less judgmental. And, I think if someone does call you weird, be like, yeah, I'm weird, so what? I think it's like what Pop Fun to Play said that I actually thought was really funny. And he said, it's not like you would want somebody to tell you, yeah, you're so normal, like, because that sounds a little too boring. I think doll collecting actually gave me something more interesting to talk about, with some people that I want to share that with, that kind of art form. It makes you more interesting, I think. So, and people do different things, like customizers and stuff. I mean, they make, good money with that. They make a living off of that. And I think maybe sometimes when you say that, if you customize dolls, or if you make them clothes and you sell them, like if you tell them, oh yeah, I make money with this, like maybe people will respect you, I guess, a little more. But even if you don't customize them, if you just buy them to appreciate them as art, just tell them, I see these dolls as art and I appreciate them. You can buy a painting, nobody's gonna make fun of you about that. So why can't I just have a doll that I find is interesting and a work of art? So yeah, I think my advice is, either if somebody calls you weird, like I said, don't share it with just anyone. If you don't really trust the way this person's going, what they're gonna say, so maybe it's better not to say anything, just so you don't have to deal with that. But if you already told them and they still think you're weird or whatever, I would say, what I do personally, I just either ignore the person or I will tell them off, but that's my personality. I'll say, I'll tell them, so what, and I would probably say, like, if they do something like you go to the mall every week and you spend hundreds of dollars in clothes, like, I don't make fun of you about that, you know what I mean? So I know sometimes it's not the best strategy, I guess, but you know what? I don't care what other people think about me. And I think, too old to play with dolls. I mean, you know, like I said, people don't understand that adult collectors, most of the time, I don't think they sit there and actually play with their dolls. So I would just not even, I think when people say that is because maybe they wish they could do something cool like that and they don't have the guts to, you know what I mean? So, anyway, I think that's my answer to that question. Sorry if I rambled a little bit. You know, I mean, growing up, I was bullied and made fun of for other reasons. I was very nerdy and I was one of the smarter kids in my class. So people are always, I think people who have issues with themselves and who kind of want to hide behind that toughness, because they don't want to be made fun of. So what they do is their strategy is to be on the defensive and make fun of someone first so that they're not, bullied. And I think I've noticed that that's a pattern with a lot of people who tend to be bullies and make fun of other people. When I was in high school, and this is a quick story, there was this really mean girl who made fun of my friend. And I mean, she would really make fun of her. And I noticed, when you looked at my friend and you looked at her, like, she was not a pretty girl, okay? She had a lot of flaws. And I think the reason why she made fun of other people was so that people wouldn't point out her flaws. So I think, in a way, I kind of feel sorry for those people. And, just remember, if you're being bullied for some reason, especially if you're young or you're, high school or anything like that, just remember that nothing lasts forever. Not the good times, not the bad times, and certainly not junior high and high school, okay? So one day you're going to graduate, you're going to move on, you're going to go to college, or you're going to just start working, you're going to be an adult, and all of that's going to be behind, and those people who made fun of you are probably, the big losers in life who are not going to do anything significant. I think if anything, being bullied actually makes you have more character and be stronger to deal with other things in life. And at least that was what I learned from my experience. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Not related to this, but I actually have some dolls for sale on the Facebook page, the Pullip Sales Facebook page, so do check that out if you are interested in some dolls. And anyway, so let me know down below in the comments if you have a different take on this. What is your reaction if someone calls you weird? Anyway, see you next time. Ciao.